Hi and welcome back. So, is the universe testing you when things are going wrong in your 3D reality? How many of you are going through a bit of a bumpy ride with your bridge of incidents? How many of you are in a bit of turmoil at the moment, not having the best time? Maybe your SPs told you they don't love you anymore, they're not interested. Maybe you got turned down and rejected for that job opportunity that you were really after. Maybe something else horrendous has happened and you're thinking to yourself, okay, perhaps this is the universe testing me. There are videos out there that talk about this. The universe is testing you. Your whole world has to crash and burn before your manifestation comes in. It's a good sign. Congratulations. I've seen all this stuff before. Let's talk about it from a law of assumption perspective. And I'm going to share from my 20 years of experience what is happening here with the bridge of events and how to perceive it, what's going on here based on my experience and my perception on this. But first up, thank you all for joining me. I'm Athena Raven. I'm a mental health and manifestation life coach, here to empower and inspire and support you on this manifestation journey to success. So if you are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. Really help this channel out so that we can boost the algorithm, get out there to a wider audience, and help more people who are on this journey who might be struggling a bit with it. Because I know there's many of us out there, and it can feel like quite a lonely place to be as well, this whole manifestation process. We don't always have friends and family that we can openly talk to about this. So I want to try and create a really, and already have, a really nice, safe community where you guys have been so supportive, not only of myself, but to each other as well. And I love and appreciate all of you, as always, for being here and continuously supporting. So with that, without further ado, is the universe testing you? Now, a lot of you who know my content, who know where I'm coming from, you know what I'm going to say here. No, no. I have never had this belief that the universe or the world is somehow testing me, that I need to go through some sort of suffering before I get my result. I had seen a content creator before actually on TikTok, and it made me cringe a bit, because she was like, okay, 2 signs that your manifestation are coming in. Your whole world comes crashing down. Something horrific has to happen. And that's your test, that's your preparation, that's your sign that your manifestation is ready for you. And then you get sick. You most commonly get sick right before your manifestation comes in. Now, I thought this is terrible, because a lot of people are going to be watching this and they're going to immediately assume and expect that they're going to get sick and they are somehow going to have to lose in order to gain. It's like, I have to lose something in order to gain this. It's making space. The universe is making space for this new manifestation. How many of you guys have heard this or have come through videos, have come across videos that have stated this? Please do comment below. I'd be really curious to know what you thought about it when you came across it as well. Because from my own personal experience, so let's say, first up, let's have clarity. Those that state that the universe is testing you, for example, they're coming from a very law of attraction perspective, which states that, you know, the universe is like a separate entity to you. You know, you're working in you're working together. I'm losing my words today. You're working with the universe essentially, or source, or God, or whatever you want to call it, but you are co-creator with this outside external source. That's why it's all about manifest this or something better. It's always or something better. Like, it's not meant for you necessarily. The universe might have other plans for you and all of this. And this is not, there's not a bad way to manifest. It's not a judgment against law of attraction. I went down the law of attraction as well when I first started my journey 20 years ago, from Neville to law of attraction, back to Neville and stuff. I went all around the block with it. I was curious, I was learning. And so that's probably why they're stating the universe is testing you. With law of assumption, remember, there is no co-creation in this. You create based on your perspective, based on your assumption. It's going to determine what kind of experience you're going to have in your 3D reality, what you're going to see more of and what you're going to see less of. That's why your assumptions persisted in harden more and more into fact. If you're assuming that your SP doesn't love you and is rejecting you, then guess what? Even if you're in a relationship with your SP and they're treating you really well at the moment, you're just going to see and you're going to interpret a lot of their behavior as rejection. They didn't text me straight away. Oh my God, they're rejecting me. They're changing their mind about me. And that will continue until the breakdown happens and various other things, as I've discussed in these previous videos. So that's how I see it. And that really resonates with me and my psychological side as well, my mental healing practice too. I like all of that. That makes more sense to me. So I don't believe in co-creating and that I'm being tested by an outside source because of my belief in the law of assumption and my experience of it. The only thing, person, whatever that's testing me is me. I'm testing myself because there is only me. And this 3D reality is just an expression, is just a reflection in a way of my concepts of self, of my beliefs. That's how I'm experiencing it, right? It's all based on that. So I'm not testing, I'm not being tested, I'm testing myself. Now, have I noticed that everything has to go wrong before it goes right? Again, no. You see, even your bridge of events is going to take into account, is going to incorporate and reflect your beliefs and assumptions. So let's go with a couple of examples. For example, like recently, I had, you guys know what it's like. You get into a relationship, you get comfortable, and you start piling on the pounds. Winter has come. Now, I've always manifested that I remain a certain weight. My body always finds a way back to 9.5 stone. I think that's roughly about 60 kilograms. That's my ideal. Because I always struggled with my weight for the longest time. I don't diet, I don't exercise, I'm just not that kind of person, too lazy for all of that. So I use manifestation, and I dropped a lot of weight. It was just a miraculous thing as well. I think it was 50 or 55 pounds, is it? Some of you measure in pounds. So I was 3.5 stone, 4 stone heavier than I am now in my sort of teenage years. And so I've manifested weight loss. However, I don't know why, and I need to change this. I have changed this. I had this assumption and belief though, and I used to always state it as well, almost in a jokey way, because I did everything under the sun to lose weight and I couldn't. So I also had this assumption that the way that I lose weight is usually through sickness or stress, So my bridge of events incorporated that belief as well. It wasn't that I was being tested. I had to suddenly get really ill because my manifestation is coming. I'm being tested by the universe to see if I'm ready. So here's this illness or health complaint. It wasn't that at all. It was a reflection of my assumption that I get ill. So what happened was I suddenly piled on these pounds. I was aware of it. And I was like, no. I see myself as this ideal weight. But of course, that core assumption about stress and illness still remained. So my bridge unfolded, whereby this recent issue I was having with my heart and stuff, that that was incorporated. I got the stress with regards to that and this health stuff. Anything to do with health that always throws you off a bit, doesn't it? Causes you a bit of stress and anxiety, and of course lost my appetite a bit. And as a result, I suddenly, within like a couple of days, there I was, bang, back to my ideal weight again. And I almost laughed to myself as well, because it was just like, okay, now my symptoms, everything, it's all healed. I feel fine again. Did I have to go through that? Okay, no, I wasn't being tested. That was always my assumption though. For example, as well, with my car, when I was manifesting my dream car, which I still have to this day, I've had so many years. I had bought this car before. A lot of you already know this story. Mini was always my dream car way back when. And I'd settled for this black Mini. Wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was within my budget at the time, high mileage, all the rest of it. Anyway, spent more time at the mechanics at the garage than it did with me. Always had problems with that. And that, and that desire to have my dream Mini, which was sporty, which was convertible. That's it. There was a few things I had on my checklist about what my dream Mini was, and this certainly was not it. But anyway, I digress. I went through my bridge, and part of my bridge of instance was that this car spontaneously combusted. It just blew up, set itself on fire, and that resulted in me getting my dream car. Now, the bridge was perfect. Did I have to lose this car, to gain this car? Did I have to go through that trauma to test me? Am I ready for it? No, I don't see it as this, because my desire was my dream car, which had to tick off this list. And my desire as well was that I didn't want to have to deal with selling my car and going through. I'm not that way inclined. I'm not particularly savvy with these sorts of things. I didn't want to deal with strangers coming to my house wanting to test drive the car if I was to sell it privately. And if I sell it to a dealership, then I know I'm going to incur a massive loss. So what happened? The bridge took care of everything. The bridge is always perfect, even when it's seemingly going the wrong way. Trust me on this. That's why I say to you, there is no bad and good events. Everything is neutral. But based on our assumptions, our perspective, we're going to label it as good or bad. It's working against me. This means my manifestation is not working. No, the event itself is meaningless. It has no meaning. We are the ones who apply the meaning to it. And so my car set on fire. Now, at the time I was triggered, I was shocked, I was upset about it. But you see, within that week, is because my dream car had come on the market, and also they had drastically reduced them because they were not popular. Two-seater minis are not popular. I don't think they were built overly that well, according to my friend who used to work at Mini as well. Plus convertible in the UK, not so popular either. So they drastically reduced the price of this. And in order for me to get what I paid for, because let's face it, if I sold it to a dealership, I would have incurred a loss. If I sold it privately, I still would have incurred a loss. But because this car set on fire, insurance valued it and put it together as still pretty much gave me the money that I paid for it. What I had paid for that car, I got back, and it was fantastic. Pretty much paid off my new car there and then. So within a week turnaround. So it wasn't that I had to lose one thing. That was my bridge of events. That was perfect. That had to happen that way. I've discussed other times as well where I've had quite a bumpy ride on the bridge of events, even with my very first SP, for example, who came back only then to go back to the third party, only to come back again. Again, though, that worked out perfectly based on my assumptions and beliefs. And I can do another video based on that if you want to know a bit more, be a bit more specific person geared, if that makes sense. But I'm just giving you these various examples. So, okay, so a lot of you might still see this and think to yourself, okay, but she's had these bad things occur. So you could say that she had to lose something before she gained something. She had to lose her health temporarily in order to gain the ideal weight that she wanted. She had to have her car set on fire, lose the car in this way so that she could get the car of her dreams. It was making space, it was testing me or whatever. So again, you see, your perspective, that's your perspective, your belief, that is how you're going to see it, that is how you're going to experience your bridge. But I don't necessarily think that way, because I don't want to have to believe that every time I'm manifesting something, my manifestation is closed, I'm going to have to lose something, my world is going to come crashing down, or I'm going to get sick, or whatever. This is not how I want to live. I've had so many manifestations where the bridge of events was completely smooth sailing, where all the pieces of the puzzle just fit together so simply, so fluidly, so easily, whether it's and there's no such thing as big or small manifestations, right? But you know what I mean when I say whether it's something that was really desiring big manifestation or something smaller that could come in quite fluidly, quite quickly and easily. Your bridge of events is always going to come in the quickest and easiest way possible. In some cases, we go through what is seemingly unfavorable circumstances, but what you will notice in hindsight, when you look back at your end result, from being at the end and looking back at your journey, your bridge of events, you'll be able to see that you were not being tested by anything, but the whole time your beliefs and your assumptions were forming part of that bridge of events. Like me with the whole, okay, stress is the only way I lose weight. So there we go. My bridge, my assumption of that, the mirror of life had to reflect that back to me, had to cause me stress by causing me an issue with health, for example. So that's what's happening. You're always in this reality, your experience of reality. You're seeing yourself. You're always seeing yourself reflected here. And sometimes that bridge of events is bumpy, and it's hard to understand how this is possibly working in your favor. That's why we go through the bridge of events with as little judgment as possible. We're not here to judge it. We're just here to be present and enjoying the moment of it. But how are you seeing it is what's truly important. What meaning are you attaching to it? I don't believe things have to go wrong before they go right. I don't believe I have to lose something before I gain something else. Creation is finished. Everything is here now. There is no such thing as loss anyway. That's an illusion in itself, an experience I'm having based on my beliefs, right? But for reality, creation, imagination, you know, the source, God, consciousness, whatever you're calling it all, infinite, right? Infinity. So it has to all exist now. It's not in the process of being created, and we're not losing some of it in order to gain other parts of it. No, it's all here right now, available for us. So remember that. Try not to think of it as you're being tested, and try not to have this expectancy that things are going wrong. But if things are seemingly going wrong, just ask yourself, well, is actually anything going wrong here? Because maybe this is part of the bigger picture. Like, how the hell was my car blowing up and setting on fire like that? How was that meant to be a good thing? I could not see that at the time. I surely didn't. I was crying. I was devastated. I didn't see it at the time. It was only in hindsight, when I got my new car, did I see how perfect everything was. And it really is. So I wasn't being tested. It was a perfect unfolding of my bridge of events. That's what it is. That's how I see it. That's the law of assumption perspective. Okay. So I really hope that this made sense and helps to clarify this whole notion around being, you know, are you being tested, and what you can expect of your bridge of events, and how we should view it. Because you absolutely can have manifestations that don't have any seemingly negative events occur, you know, that you gain and gain and gain, and you never lose in it, right? It's all dependent on your beliefs and assumptions. So keep that in mind, because you're the one who chooses what you believe. You choose what to assume each and every day. So make sure it's stuff that is working in your favor. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I love you all. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.